Now that we're in the fall holiday swing this season, and I was also thinking about games that are turning 20 years old, while I was doing that, I also came across an item that wasn't exactly particularly gaming related, but it came out and exactly is 20 years old. So let's take a look at the hottest thing that you had to have underneath your Christmas tree. And this is the second time I can remember in recent years, at least back then, when people completely went fucking apeshit. And it was just insane. And this year's item was just as insane, obnoxious, and at this point, so relatively obscure and forgotten about. But it's one that really stuck out in my mind as going, what the fuck? And how the hell did I get this? Furby. What other weird item did you want underneath your Christmas tree in 1998? Why did people go such apeshit over this fucking particular item? To this day, I don't know. I think it had something to do with it was the first animatronic thing that really took off, that people really wanted. I think people liked that you could teach it languages. I mean, this thing had so many mysteries to it that even the U.S. government at one point banned this in all their offices, fearing that it was like gonna, be a spy tool, or it was like can capture audio because it can like not recognize voices, but you can teach it English or other different languages. So they banned him in their office altogether. Nobody knew what the hell this thing was, but we all had to have it. I remember not particularly asking for this, but I was curious enough to say, you know what, if I got one of these, sure. And these things were hard as hell to come by in 98. How I got mine? Well, it kind of works when your mother works in a retail outlet that is no longer here, but when your mother works in retail and as soon as they come in from the back, hide the things until she gets paid, or hide the things until she's gets off of work. That's how you do it. And that's basically how most of them went, I'm assuming, in that time, in about 98. Is the people that worked there, they basically just held them in the back and bought them for themselves for the most part. These things, there was a big shortage of them. So people on early listings of eBay were selling them for anywhere between $100 and like $300. Now, by the time you add inflation into all that, this $35 toy is roughly about $45-ish. And that $100 to $300 goes to about $300 to $600-ish. So people were completely going mad. And they weren't only going crazy over, obviously the early beginnings of the internet, TV ad, not necessarily TV ads, radio stations. It's almost like that, it was like that almost predicted that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger with like that Mega Man or Action Hero Man. Turbo Man, that's what I was thinking of, Turbo Man. And like radio stations, they were holding contests saying, come get the Furby. And there were people calling up, begging local radio stations to be the #1 winner to win, the Furby, to get it underneath there. People were cheering. They were screaming. There were newspaper ads of people selling the things, saying they got new Furbies. They want like $80 for it. Some people say they want $100 for it. Some people say they got 2 or 3 of them. I remember stores getting bombarded with phone calls. Just, do you have Furby? Do you have Furby? Do you have? No. And like people getting like irate and so pissed off that they couldn't get this. I mean, it's the same shit that you get every year with every certain type of item. But this one, it just seemed like because it was on the verge of technology and it wasn't terribly expensive. Like I said, by the time you add inflation, this is this Furby costs not much more than like a PlayStation game. By the time you add inflation into it, and so it wasn't terribly expensive, and it was oddly weird. I have mine literally sitting right in front of me. I was surprised. I'll say this: the '98 ones hold up the test of time. This thing has been bounced around from storage unit to storage unit, hot, cold, you name it. First time I put fresh batteries in it in damn near 15 years. The thing turned right on, and I think whatever it was, all the gears, it took them a while to, work, but all the gears worked. The eyes opened, closed, the ears went up and down. He jumped up and down. It sounds the same, sounded great. So the quality of this thing, for being a Tiger Electronic, had decent build quality to it. So that kind of surprised me now that you think back about it. But there you have it. That's Furby in a nutshell. And that was the craziest, fucking nuttiest thing people went apeshit for in 1998. And one more year, me and my Furby, we can have an alcoholic beverage together.